Hey everyone, on my episode today, I talked to Beth Heyer. She is an amazing serial entrepreneur, amazing mind, very strategic. She's built a practice now that has over 300 employees in a very interesting area of choice. And she's expanding and pivoting and just being very smart about how she's utilizing her time and how she hires the people in her company. So, for you guys that are interested in growing a team, this is going to be an amazing episode. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Accidental CEO podcast, where we bridge the gap between the creativity you love and the CEO mindset you need. I'm your host, Nada Salvatore, wedding photographer and business educator. Find full show notes and resources at accidentalceopod.com. Let's get into today's episode. You're not just winging it, you are leading it. But let's be honest, being the CEO and the everything else can get lonely, messy, and exhausting. That's why I created the Accidental CEO Collective, a free Facebook community for creative entrepreneurs who never plan to be the boss. But damn it, here we are. Inside, I go live every week to share the real stuff. Strategies that don't require a business degree, behind the scenes struggles, because you're not the only one, and wins that we actually celebrate, even the tiny ones. If you're a scrappy, smart, sometimes slightly burnout founder who is ready to lead with more clarity and less chaos, this is your room. We're building a business that works for us, not one that runs us into the ground. Come join us. Let's grow, mess up, pivot, and succeed together. Just search the Accidental CEO Collective on Facebook and join our group today. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Accidental CEO podcast. I'm your host, Nada Salvatore, and today I have Beth Heyer with me. She's the owner and founder of Babysitting Connections. She specializes in a remote workforce, which I know a lot of us are trying to work with these days, as well as working with the Gen Z. Very interested in hearing about all of that. Over 4 years with Babysitting Connections, Beth has developed an internal team of 6 and a team of over 300 babysitters across the state of Texas with over 700 monthly subscribers, which is really cool. And she will talk to us about all of that too. She also runs a nonprofit, BC Gives Back, and recently launched the Pet Sitting Connection as well as her own consulting business. Lots of things going on for you, Beth. Congratulations and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I like to stay busy, so it works out.
Yes, you and I would be great friends. So just tell us a little bit more about all the things that are going on right now. Just expand a little bit on all the businesses that you have, and then we'll track back into the history of how you got there.
So I started Babysitting Connection in January of 2020. And within a year, we started expanding into different cities. So we are now in San Antonio, Houston, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Austin is our primary market. Shortly after starting Babysitting Connection, we started to get people reaching out to us about foster parents needing support with childcare. And I had some previous experience working with the foster care industry and children in care, and it really tugged at my heartstrings. So about 2 years ago, we launched our nonprofit arm, BC Gives Back. And then just this year, we decided to launch Pet Sitting Connection. So we're utilizing all of our same fully vetted babysitters, but this time taking care of pets in our clients and our members' homes. And then with that also this year, we decided to launch BethHeyer.com, my consulting side. Although my niche is primarily childcare and nanny agencies and babysitting agencies, I just love working with women entrepreneurs in general, particularly mothers. I'm open to all clients and working with folks with that arm as well.
That's amazing. It sounds to me like you found a good process, a good way to run the business, and then we're smart enough to expand that into similar areas of businesses that could use that kind of process. So very, very smart. Yeah, tell us about the moment you decided to transition from being a stay-at-home mom to starting the Babysitting Connections, and what were the initial hopes and goals for that job, for that first company?
Yeah. My husband at the time, he had decided to change up his career a little bit. I had been a stay-at-home mom for a couple of years, and I always knew that I wanted to go back to work. I had developed a real passion for moms since I'd become one, and knew that I wanted to do something that allowed me to be my own boss, start my own business, and help moms. Spent some time researching babysitting agencies, co-working spaces that offered childcare, and also play places for children and parents. My gut just told me it was babysitting is what I needed to go for. I saw such a need in Austin. I'd moved to Austin. I really struggled to find my own babysitters. I had a really great network back in Ohio where I lived. And when I came to Austin, I really struggled to find babysitters. I knew there were other moms that were going through the same thing. So we landed on a babysitting agency, which I'm so thankful we did, because about 6 weeks after we launched, COVID hit. And we just, if we would have had any kind of physical space at that time, it would have just not gone well. Originally, when I launched Babysitting Connection, I just thought we were going to be date nights, right? We had a package for 3 sits a month and a package for 5 sits a month. And within a couple of months with COVID, we realized that there was this huge need for consistent childcare in our homes because so many daycares and schools were closing. So we launched our consistent care program and started offering to work with families to match them with sitters consistently. So I was thrilled, especially in the beginning. I was still able to work from home. I took on a couple contract jobs and different jobs that were remote so I could make some money before Babysitting Connection started making it. But I was really still able to be involved with my kiddos' life. And they weren't in school yet at that time. So it gave me a real opportunity to continue to be part of their lives while I was growing the business. So it really was just the perfect fit for me.
How was the process of finding people to work in this business of yours? How many people you started with on that first, maybe the first 6 months or a year of your business?
We launched with 10 babysitters. Oh man, I would say by the end of our first year, we maybe had 40, maybe? Uh, and we've just really continued to grow and learn the trends with not only when people need babysitters, but also the trends of our team. We have a lot, our entire team is basically between 18 and 30 years old, and a lot of them, probably 18 and 28 years old. And we have a lot of students on our team. So we've learned that when that semester changes, kind of shakes things up, it changes everybody's schedule, changes everybody's availability. Finals week is a big week for us, just making sure we have everything covered. And then on the member side, spring break and summers and holiday breaks and just kind of keeping an eye for all of those. So at this point, we have 300 babysitters across Texas. About 225 of them are here in Austin, and then the rest are in San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston.
Wow, that's amazing. Very fast growth you had.
Yes, we did. It was wonderful.
How did you find the people that joined your team, and what was the process like of making sure that you had the right people in your company? Because it's such a personal thing. Like you're talking into going into people's houses and taking care of their kids. So what was the vetting process that you had to put together?
So for our babysitters, from the beginning, you have to be 18, valid driver's license, CPR certification, previous paid childcare experience. So for me, I was looking for professional babysitters. And that's really what we have is this is many of theirs, full-time jobs or what is paying for them to get through college. They are professionals and they take their job seriously. So we always looked for someone that came to us with paid childcare experience, being a recruiter for a long time. A lot of it too is just like hitting it off with the person, getting to know their personality. We have this week, we have two sitters with us who have hit 1,000 sits. 1,000.
Wow.
They have been with us for years. And one of my team members just told me more than half of our staff has been with us for over a year. So we are looking for those people who are looking to build relationships with a business, build relationships with our members, and work for something long term and just really talking about that and getting a feel for them in their interview. At this point, my team member Frances has taken over most of the interviews and she really looks for the same thing. And at this point, also, we can be very selective about who we bring on and making sure that they're really the right fit and they're going to represent the business. We don't have a lot of turnover of our sitters because we really do a great job of making sure that not only are we hiring the right people, but we want to make sure that they know what the company is like that they're joining and what we expect of them. So we really try to set the expectations from the beginning.
Yeah, that's very important. So they understand the values and the mission and, are happy about joining the company and, be more willing to give their time. That's awesome. So with over 20 years of in recruiting and training, I'm sure there was some skills that you adapted to be very effective in managing and growing your team. What were some of those skills that you were able to transfer over?
I think a lot of it is just that being personal and having that relationship. There's questions that you want to get answered, obviously, in an interview, but I don't believe in, sitting there and, tell me about this, tell me about this, tell me about this. You can get the information that you need while also building a relationship with that person and building camaraderie with that person. I've always said Babysitting Connection is a place, I want it to be a place where not only do our members enjoy being a member, I want our sitters to enjoy working here. And that's really a hard balance to find. There's going to be days where you're not going to be able to make the member happy. There's going to be days where you're not going to be able to make the sitter happy. But we've worked really hard to define that fine line. So, really building that rapport with that sitter from the very beginning of that interview and saying, hey, this is the business. This is what we want. This is what we expect of our team. How do you see that fit into your life? How do you see that fit into your schedule? What does that look like compared to other places you've worked before? So I really think recruiting is really just about relationship building. And at this point, nearly all of our sitter hires come from referrals from our current sitters. And I think that just says so much about us that so many of our team are willing to, think we're so great that they tell their friends about us and want their friends to come work for us also.
What is you mentioned and you have a membership that you offer to your clients. What is the advantage of being a member versus just booking whenever I need?
So I think the thing with the membership, and we've been membership based since the beginning. We have three different levels currently. We have 3 sits a month if you just need a date night or doctor's appointment. We have 10 sits a month. This is normally for our families who need care maybe 2-3 times a week. And then we have unlimited. This is for our families that use us for consistent care or consistently working with someone. Being a member and having that monthly relationship really just creates some loyalty between the members and the business. And then also, I think it's just important for parents. Like, I am a firm believer in parents taking time for themselves and taking time for their relationships and time for themselves. I am a huge proponent of bringing in childcare. I have babysitters. When I was a stay-at-home mother, I used babysitters because some days I just needed to take a nap. Some days I wanted to cook and didn't want my 2 under 2 hanging on me. So I think also having that monthly membership, you're paying for it. Like, let's book that sitter. Let's go on that date night. Maybe I don't want to take my 2-year-old to the dentist appointment with me. Let me snag a sitter. So I think there's a lot of reasons to benefit from a monthly membership, and having that commitment and that relationship between members and business is really great.
What are some of the strategies that you found effective in engaging and motivating the Gen Z workers in your business?
They're a tricky little group. It took me a long time. I'm the first to admit I made some mistakes in the beginning, and I think a big takeaway here is, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, no one is going to love or care about your business as much as you are, right? And I'm an elder millennial, and I had a lot of loyalty to the companies that I worked for about 10 years for the same company. I had a lot of loyalty to them. Gen Z isn't like that. They don't love my business as much as I do. And to them, it's a job. Really getting that mindset, like they just value their mental health so much. And it took me a long time. As an elder millennial, they're like, well, my boyfriend broke up with me. Like, I got to go to work, right? Like, I got to go to work. That's what you do. And it took me a long time to be like, you know what? If someone's boyfriend broke up with them that morning, they're probably not going to do the best job babysitting that day. So, like, although I don't love this, let me see if I can find a solution. Let's see, like, I understand you're going through a lot. Let me see if the family is open to another sitter. Let me see if I can find another sitter to cover the shift. Let's give you the night. You got to sit tomorrow. I need you to be there. But just really taking a more sensitive approach with them. And I don't handhold them, I don't baby them, but they just value work life balance and mental health so much more than I ever did when I was their age. And it's really given me an opportunity to look at my own approach to work differently. I mean, I worked myself ragged for this business for years. I'm finally to a point now where, like, you know what? That can wait till tomorrow. That's not an emergency. That can wait till tomorrow. And that's something that I definitely learned from Gen Z. But also on the flip side, I'm going to be try to be more sensitive to that, sensitive to needing to take some time off, sensitive to not feeling well, whatever. But I also set the expectation for my team. And I regularly say to my team, not only are you representing yourself, you are representing 300 babysitters and multiple businesses. So if you give that member a crummy first impression, it's not just of you, it's of all of us around you. So I think just sharing that with them, like, I want you to be your best on your sit. I understand some days you might have a tough day, some days you might not. And even things like, let's say a member reaches out and says, so and so just wasn't super engaging with my kiddo. 4 years ago, I would have said, what happened at your sit today? Why weren't you engaging with the kiddo? That's not how you do it, right? I'm pretty blunt. I'm pretty forward. And what I've learned instead is saying, okay, let's see here. This sitter has been wonderful for me. This sitter has done 60 cents and has 10 5-star reviews. Let me think of a better way to approach it with them. And instead, reaching out to them and saying, like, hey, like, I just heard from your sit yesterday. Like, is everything going okay? Like, is anything going on? Do you need to talk about anything? Just want to make sure you're doing okay. And usually they're like, I woke up yesterday and my car broke down and my mom called me and it was just a bad day. And I realized I didn't give it to my all and I'm really sorry. And just even approaching things with them from a more like, what is happening? How can we work through this together? What can we talk about? How can we fix this? What do you need from me? Is just, it just completely changes the dynamic when you're working with Gen Z. And I've just, like I said, I've really just grown to really appreciate them and their approach and their work-life balance. And, like I said, we have so many sitters that have been with us for so long. And I think it's really just that balance of creating a really great place to work. Our sitters set their own schedule, they set their own availability, they set their own locations, they set their own ages. If you don't want to work with a newborn, I'm surely not going to make you work with a newborn. If you don't want to work on the west side, I'm not going to make you go there. But I give you all of that flexibility. But when it comes time for you to work, I expect you, you signed up for, you got exactly what you signed up for. So I do expect you to work and expect you to represent the business and yourself well.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of us struggle with is, that delegation of this company that we love and the things that we help grow and put together. And now having to find people to continue that legacy and work on your business for you. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. And I think it's not like people don't care. They have to understand what's in it for them and what's going to help them, what it's going to do for them being part of your business, and how you're going to support them grow as a human being, as a professional. And once that connection is made, then there's a huge difference on the effort that's going to be put into, working for that company. So looks like you found a balance.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I haven't even talked about my internal team. I mean, they're just wonderful, and, I kind of approach it the same way with them, like, this is your job, these are the expectations, this is the business you're representing. As long like, you do your job, if you and we have a team meeting every Monday, and, there's a lot of times where I'm like, I'm thinking of this idea, thinking about trying this, like, what do you think? And we brainstorm, and they're involved in all of those decisions. And there's times where they'll say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? I'm always going to be willing, if you have a better, smarter, faster, easier, quicker, smarter way to do something, like bring it to me. Let's go. Let's do it. We are small enough. We are agile enough. We can try something for a week. We can try something for a month. Like, let's do it. So that's how small businesses grow, is with, creative thinkers and people who are willing to try new things.
Today's episode is sponsored by the Delegation Secrets How to Let Go and Scale Your Business course. Are you ready to scale your business without burnout? As an entrepreneur, you're juggling everything. Client work, marketing, admin, finances is exhausting. You build your business from the ground up, but it's time to ask yourself, how long can I keep doing it all on my own? What if you could free up time for higher level activities that truly make the needle move in your business? What if you could scale without sacrificing your sanity? It all starts with one word: delegation. The Delegation Secrets course comes with 6 different modules, and you learn everything from the mindset of delegation to identifying tasks you should delegate, build a trustworthy team, effective communication for seamless delegation, tools and processes for efficient outsourcing, and measuring success and scaling further. Let's break free together. You can find more information on accidentalceo.co/delegate-course. Now back to the episode. I want to talk a little bit more about the subscription membership that you have. So the Babysitting Connections operates on that monthly subscription model. I don't know if you did the same for the pet sitting company, but what are some of the key factors that you think contributed to the success and sustainability of having, you have over 700 subscribers now to that service. So what are some of the things that you put in place that maybe other businesses that offer some kind of membership or subscription can start thinking about to implement as well?
So Pet Sitting Connection, we launched without a membership because we really think that's maybe more holiday based. So that's just a kind of pay as you go thing. I think one of the big things for us that our membership is successful is the barrier to entry, the barrier to purchase to become a member is quite low. We actually just raised our rates for the first time in 2 years. Our lowest subscription model is $35 a month, $34.99. And that gets you 3 sits. And if you look at any other app-based childcare, even some other, nanny agencies, they're charging $30, $40 a booking. A lot of people think that the sitter apps don't take a fee. And not only are they taking a fee from the member, they're taking a fee from the sitter. And that's something we do not do with babysitting. Our sitters get paid directly by our members. They get every penny that they make. So I think having that low barrier to entry and doing the math and saying, okay, I get 3 bookings for 35 bucks. It's 10, $12 a booking. So I think that low barrier to entry. And then as you get into the higher levels of membership, the rates do go up, but the cost per booking is typically a lot lower than a lot of our competitors. So I think that makes it really easy to, be willing to join and willing to try us out. The bulk of our members are on that 3 sits a month package. I just pulled up some stats here. I'm trying to see if I can pull it, but the bulk of our members, about 75% of our members, are on that 3 sit a month package. So it's not even, I feel like you can't even go out to lunch for less than $35 now. It's affordable, it's easy. It's one of those things where if you maybe don't book 3 sits that month or don't book any sits that month, it's $35. It's not a huge deal. So I think having that low barrier to entry, a lot of our competitors also have like annual fees, $100, $200 to join. We don't have that either. You can join for a month, leave, come back, join for a month. We have families that take the summers off. We have families that take the school years off. So there's a lot of flexibility in our membership. And like I said earlier, there's no 1-year commitment or anything like that. Like $35 is affordable enough to be like, yeah, I'm going to give this a try. And then usually once we get them booking their first sit, they're hooked. So I think having a very affordable cost of entry helps a lot.
So you're a single mom and a business owner right now. How do you manage the balance of things, or attempted to? I don't believe that we can balance anything. But, what are do you have specific routines or strategies that you find are particularly helpful?
I work out 6 days a week. That keeps me sane. It is always the first thing on my calendar. Usually I have during the school year, I have it done by 9. during the summer, we're a little bit loosey-goosey. I usually have it done by 10. My team knows that, and I make it a big priority. That helps me with my mental health, right? Like getting that workout in is big for me. And then it's just, I think, a lot of boundaries with work. Like I said, when I first launched, I feel like I wasn't doing a good job as a business owner if I wasn't responding to everyone immediately. And then I realized, like, if someone texts at 9 o'clock at night and asks, hey, I need to sit in 3 weeks. Can you help me? I'm going to let that sit until 9 the next morning, right? So we have business hours, 9 to 5. Someone is in the phones always. We're keeping an eye on things, but just setting that boundary to say, this is not an urgent issue. Now, if there is an urgent issue, we'll handle it. But setting those boundaries and saying, I don't need to reply to every email, don't need to reply to every message within a few minutes of it coming in. So setting those boundaries. Also, I lean into my team a lot and knowing that they are fully capable of handling things. At this point, kind of everybody knows how to do everything, or, we have a great resource to be able to figure things out. We have some great training documents to figure it out. So really kind of leaning into my team and trusting my team to know that if I ask them to do something or hand them a project, I don't need to think about it. I don't need to worry about it. They're going to report back to me when they need it. And then really just taking time for myself, whether that means a workout, whether that means getting my nails done, whether that just means sitting on the couch and reading a book. I realized that before I had this 30-minute window, and I thought, you know what? I could sit here and catch up to a few more emails. I'm going to sit and read a book. Just going to sit and read a book for 30 minutes. In the beginning, I had that mindset that like I have to work 9 to 5, but I wasn't working 9 to 5. I was working 9 to 5, and then I was working 5:30 to 6, and then I was working 7 to 7:30. And I thought, no, like I don't need to feel like I have to sit at my desk from 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, because I'm working all the time. I like to work in the evening sometimes. There's weekends when I work. So knowing that like I can take that break in the middle of the day just to like let my mind refresh and reset, and taking that time for myself. I also try really hard to make time to be present with my kids. I think that's really hard when, I'm sitting in my house right now, right? Like Babysitting Connections headquarters is in my front room. So it's so easy just to start to work, and knowing that, okay, like, and my kids know all about the business. They know that sometimes mommy gets a phone call, but making sure that there are times when I say, okay, I'm going to leave my phone in the other room. My team is managing the phone. I don't need to do anything. I'm just going to be present with my kids, whether it's playing or swimming or taking them somewhere. It's taken a long time, but finding that balance. And also, I have babysitters. I book babysitters. I know that it's really hard for me to do my job and run my business if I have kids home for the summer. So it's not all day, but there are days when I just need to book a sitter because I need to be able to sit down and work and focus on work. And I know that that's what helps keep me sane and helps keep the business running. So it's really been a lot of trial and error of finding the balance for things. And I'm a big fan of calling in help when I need it. I joke, I have a good friend who owns a business, all the small things that they do, kind of like home management and organization. And I joke that there's times I just throw up the bat signal and say, "Hey, I can wash laundry all day, but if you want me to put that away, it's just not going to happen." So there have been days where I am like, the stress that this laundry is causing me is not worth it, and I don't have the time or capacity to do it. I throw up the bat signal, a member of her team comes over, 3 hours, all the clothes are put away, everything's done. And I'm like, that is a valuable use of my money and my time. And I think a lot of times moms especially don't look at, I'm a big fan of like, what is your time worth, right? Like, what is my hourly rate? And then saying, you know what, if I can hire someone to clean my house and it takes them 4 hours and it would take me 8 hours to do the same job they would do, it's worth it for me to have someone come in once a month and just do a refresh. So I think it's really just important to balance and then really take a look at what your time is worth. And I think there's a lot of opportunities to delegate or outsource work, especially as a single mom and business owner.
Yeah, and that's part of being a CEO, being the owner and the founder of your company is understanding where your time is best utilized and that you should be spending that time on the needle movers and money maker tasks versus the little things that you could be delegating. Delegating somebody to take care of your house chores is part of being a business owner. And to me, that's completely valid utilization of your money and time. So I'm with you. So you've recently expanded into the pet sitting arena with the pet sitting connections and in your consulting business as well. So what are some of the challenges that you faced when you try to diversify your business and how did you overcome them? Because that's something that I feel like a lot of people get to a point in their entrepreneur journey where they're like, okay, it's time to expand, it's time to pivot. So what are some of the issues that you came across?
Oh my. Well, in the beginning, it was really just like I'm basically running two separate businesses with the same employees, right? And they're financially kind of structured different. Like I said, Babysitting Connection is a membership, pet sitting is pay as you go. And just trying to figure that out from like an accounting and legal standpoint was just like, in my brain, it does not work like an accountant and it doesn't work like a lawyer. So, that was one. That was figuring out, okay, so we have LLCs and we have holding companies and these funds go here and all of that. So got that figured out. And then it was working with our software company. We work with a great software company called Engine Hire. We did, great babysitting with them. And we approached them last fall and said, okay, we're thinking about doing pet sitting. And they're like, yeah, like we can do that. We can do that. And then it's like, oh, wait. Like, okay, oh no, so we got to do this different and we got to separate this. And it was, it seemed like this, oh yeah, just like, yeah, we'll just add another business in here. So we've worked really closely with them and they've been super supportive of just like trying to figure out and the little glitches and the quirks in the software, working that through us. Our sitters were incredibly supportive and very excited. They were really excited about starting to do some pet sitting. And now our challenge is diversifying our clients and our members. Because right now, everybody is a parent, right? And we've, the people that have, there's all of these, dinks, like single people or double income, no kids who have these dogs. And we're like, that needs to be our market now. So trying to really adjust our entire marketing approach that's been so parent focused to now it's like, okay, now we need to find these people, these CEO, single male CEOs who have dogs who want someone to come walk them every day or who travel, getting into that demographic. So we're looking into some different marketing techniques and different marketing approaches to kind of diversify our membership and our client base with the pet sitting. Yeah.
Yeah, so have to put some different hats on and you're using the same kind of system overall. There's a lot of different nuances to both of them. So, you mentioned the passion for supporting children in foster care and their families. Let's talk a little bit about how your nonprofit, like the BC Gives Back, aligns with that mission and kind of what some of the things that you've done for families with that nonprofit.
Yeah. Yes. It's really been a labor of love. I didn't want to be a director of a nonprofit. That's not what my goal was, but being, it just pulled at my heart and I knew we had to do it. And it's been kind of a slower process than we hoped. We have some big goals for the nonprofit. Ultimately, we want to provide care for children in foster care. We want to provide care for families if they want to vote or go to board meetings or city council meetings or get involved politically and don't have childcare. And then ultimately, we also want to be able to provide scholarships for our sitters to continue their education, whether it be we have a lot of sitters who are interested in becoming doulas or lactation consultants, not the typical 4-year college route. So we want to be able to support them in all the ways. And then also being able to provide scholarships for our members. Childcare is 100% a luxury, especially for babysitters. It is not an affordable thing to be able to bring babysitters into your home. And there are so many families that there's these, parents who work shift work and nurses and people who work at our restaurants and our gas stations who don't have that typical job between those daycare hours of say 7 and 5 that need our help. And the sitters are making the same hourly rate as they are sometimes. So working with them to be able to provide them with scholarships and to be able to supplement the sitter's rate with them I'm a firm believer in fair work, fair pay. So I'm never going to cut my sitters' hourly rate, but being able to supplement their rate for the family so it's more affordable. So we work closely with a nonprofit here in Austin called Fostering Hope, and so our sitters are vetted, and then in order to be able to sit for foster families, they need some extra training. They need medical dosing training, trauma informed care training, and they need to be fingerprinted. We background or check our sitters. We don't fingerprint them. So Fostering Hope has partnered with us, and they hold babysitter training sessions every other month or so. They kind of get our sitters across the bridge there to get fully certified. And then we're offering free membership for foster families. So they're able to log in, they can click a box and say, I only want a sitter who is foster agency certified, and then be able to book those sitters. Unfortunately, there's a lot of red tape and changes and to a lot of the rules and laws in terms of foster parents and children in care. And there's a lot of different agencies, and different agencies have different rules. So for us, it's really just trying to maneuver that, do the best we can, get sitters certified. And then ultimately, we are continuing to work to grow our board for babysitting, or for BC Gives Back, to grow that board. So we are looking for folks who are interested and passionate about it that can help us maybe raise some more funds, help us get some more awareness out there. I try my best. Our team tries our best, but ultimately we really need to get some more folks on our board who are able to help us spread the word and advocate for these programs.
It's amazing. How can people help support the nonprofit if they want to help you guys?
Yeah, so just bcgivesback.org. You can head there. You can make a donation there. All of those funds go directly to helping families. We supplement the foster families' hourly rate if they need it. We help cover their membership fees. We have sitters who watch children in almost like a nursery setting while their parents who are foster parents get appropriate training. So we help supplement their income. So bcgivesback.org is that website. And then they can always email me, just Beth at babysittingconnection.com, with any questions or any way they want to support us.
That's amazing. Beth, tell everybody where they can find you if they want to take advantage of your babysitting and pet sitting services too. And we'll connect everything, but tell them where to find you.
Yeah. So we are at babysittingconnection.com. We are also at petsittingconnection.com, bcgivesback.org. And then my personal site is BethHeyer, HEYER.com, where you can learn about how I can help you grow your business. And then, like I said, Beth at babysittingconnection.com is the best way to get me. So yeah, I am a big connector, big fan of community. I love chatting with other business owners, other women, other moms. So absolutely encourage you to reach out and chat.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. We had an amazing conversation. You had so much to share and teach our listeners that are interested in, growing a business with lots of employees, working with the younger generation, and pivoting your business. So lots of amazing information. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I had a great time.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for listening to us today. And we talk to you again next week for another episode of the Accidental CEO podcast. Bye. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Accidental CEO podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us in the world where creativity and business strategy collide. I am Nada Salvatore, thrilled to have shared this time with you. Remember, every episode is a step closer to mastering the art of being an accidental CEO. So don't miss out. Hit subscribe, drop us a sweet review, and spread the word to your creative tribe. Your next big breakthrough could be just one episode away. Join us next time for more insights, laughs, and actionable tips. Keep pushing boundaries, dreaming big, and embracing the beautiful chaos of entrepreneurship. Here's to make magic happen in your business and beyond.